Hello. How is everyone?
Hey, Jamie.
Hi, how's everyone doing?
Good so far.
Very cool. See if you guys can see everything in here. Hear everything okay? Could never quite tell. Got about 5 minutes. If you want to go ahead and get comfortable, you can grab a couple of blocks if you have them, or some books. Also, a blanket or a bolster if you would like one. And I'll be right with you guys. right, how is everyone doing? Everybody in? Hi, Lori. Hi, Michael. Hi, Chuck. Hi, Samantha. Excellent. Does anybody have any questions before we get started?
Nope.
No? All righty. I'm going to go ahead and put you guys on mute. And hi. All right, sorry, I look silly. I'm trying to figure this out. If you would like to, you can go ahead and grab a blanket or two and also a couple of blocks if you have them. And then I'm going to go ahead and put everybody on mute and we'll go ahead and get started. All right. So today we're going to be doing a gentle yoga practice to help boost your immune system and also stimulate the lymphatic system. And if this is your first time seeing me virtually, I'm Jamie, and this is virtual gentle yoga with Rescue Yoga. And today we're going to go ahead and get started just in a comfortable seated position. If you need to sit a little bit higher, you can always stack up a couple of blankets to sit on, or you can always use a large pillow to prop your hips up. That's a little more comfortable. If you have sensitive knees and you need to bring your legs out at any point, please do. Just make sure that you're not hunching forward and you just bring that blanket or that pillow in to sit a little bit taller. So we're going to go ahead and start again in that seated position. Ankles can be crossed here, just finding a comfortable seat. We always start our practice off with a little bit of centering, a little bit of meditation, just kind of noticing how we're feeling, noticing any physical tension, any mental or emotional tension in the body. So go ahead and just close the eyes down all the way. Now with the eyes closed, just relaxing the jaw and feeling those bony projections at the base of the spine, plugging down into the floor, just beginning to ground. And then as you relax and feel the crown of your head lifting up towards the ceiling, go ahead and tune in to your breath. So with each inhale, as you breathe in through the nose, send that breath down into the belly to fill up the ribs and the chest. And then as you exhale, begin to pull your lower belly in towards your spine, just emptying out all of that air. And then just continue with that breath. If you wanted to find a little bit of an ujjayi breath here, an ocean breath here, you can. Sticking with taking those deep breaths in through the nostrils and constricting the back of the throat as you exhale, making that ocean sound. Taking about 3 to 5 more breaths, just noticing your mind without judgment. And then as we're here, we'll go ahead and take the fingertips to the floor, press them into the ground, lengthen up through the crown of the head. And then take a big inhale, reach the arms up and over the head, bring the palms of the hands together. And as you exhale, feel the hands come down towards the heart center. We'll take a moment to set an intention for our practice. And since we have a full moon coming tomorrow night. I always like to focus on what we need to let go of, or what is not serving us currently in our life. That could be a habit, that could be thoughts, it could be anything that comes up for you, just making sure you're not overthinking it. So maybe just asking yourself what it is that you would like to let go of today, what you no longer need. I release. And as we move through the practice this evening, just coming back to that intention of letting go so that we can begin to receive. And then as you're here, opening the eyes, go ahead and interlace your fingers together. And we're just going to start with a little bit of sound here, something a little out of the ordinary. So what I'm doing here is I'm just lifting up the elbows, taking the heels of my hands apart, and just feeling the sound reverberate. So I'm just clapping the heels of my hands together, kind of waking up the lymphatic system. Sticking with maybe a little faster breath here, maybe hearing the breath. And then going ahead and taking a deep inhale. And open the mouth, exhale. Keeping the fingers interlaced here, you can have the thumbs crossed here. We're just going to begin to stimulate the thymus gland here. So just tapping beneath the collarbone into the chest with the thumbs. Those fingers are still interlaced here. Just stimulating. A little massage. And then bringing it back to center. Take those thumbs, and you're going to slide them under the armpits. The elbows are going to point up, and you're going to tilt your pelvis back. So you're creating an arch in your low back. You're going to inhale, look up. As you exhale, those fingers can touch as you tilt the pelvis forward and drop your chin down towards your chest. Thumbs are kind of towards the armpits as you lift up the fingers, lift up the elbows, inhale, gazing up, and then exhale, bringing it all in, pelvis tilts forward, gaze comes down. Then one more, lifting it up as you inhale. And then as you exhale, take the hands apart. We're going to twist over towards the right. So take your left hand, bring it over towards your right knee, twisting over towards the right. Gazing over the right shoulder, and with each inhalation, lengthening through the crown of the head, exhaling, twisting. Again, maybe pulling that lower belly up and in. Take a few breaths here. Taking your next inhale to fill up the lungs. As you exhale, unwinding. We'll find the other side, taking the right hand to the left knee, inhaling to lengthen up through the crown of the head. Again, feeling those sit bones plug down into the floor. And as you exhale, twisting over to the left. Gaze can come over the left shoulder. And just feeling those shoulders dropping away from the ears. Staying with your breath. On your next inhale, filling up the lungs. Exhaling, unwinding nice and slow. From here, we're just going to find a seated back bend. Take the fingertips behind you. Press into those fingertips, lift up through the chest. Gaze can come up, head can tilt back if you're comfortable, or chin towards the chest. Feel the shoulder blades squeezing together, and just take a few breaths here. And then as you exhale, slowly releasing. Taking your time to move onto your hands and knees. If you have sensitive knees, please bring that thin layer of blanket down. You don't want it too tall. So maybe just a thin layer for the knees. And then if you have blocks, you might go ahead and just take those blocks towards the top of the mat. And then go ahead and come into your tabletop position. Hoping you guys can see me. All right. We're going to spread the fingers wide, come into that table, and go ahead and find a cow pose. So heart and tail are going to lift. Gaze is going to lift. And as you exhale, draw all of it in, squeezing the belly, pressing the earth away. Inhale, heart and tail lift, gaze lifts. Exhale, drawing it all in. One more as you inhale, lift the heart, lift the tail, lift the gaze. Exhale, bringing it all in. Go ahead and find a neutral spine. We're going to kick the left leg out, kind of like a kickstand. And then as you press into your left hand, you can always have a block underneath it if you would like. Right toes are going to come back, right foot is going to come back, right toes are pointing to the right. That block can come underneath the left hand as your right arm extends all the way up to open. So you don't have to have a block there, but it sometimes feels nice to have a little extra space to open up the chest. So be here. If you want to take that right arm slightly back to open the chest a little bit more, you can. And then you might even feel a little more sensation if you tuck the tailbone here and feel the right side of your ribs lifting up towards the ceiling. Come back to your breath. Come back to observing the mind. Taking one more deep inhale. And on your exhale, we're going to take the right hand down, bring the knees back to center. Take our time to move into thread the needle. Knees can come wide. Right shoulder, right ear down. So we're looping it through behind the left hand. And then your option, left hand can walk forward, or you could always place the back of your hand onto your low back. That particularly feels good to me right now. And draw your left shoulder blade in. So wherever, whatever feels best for you at this moment in time. Taking 3 rounds of inhales and exhales here. After that last exhale, left hand comes in front of the face, the fingers spread. You press down into the floor. and come back into that tabletop as we move to the other side. For that modified side plank, right foot kicks out like a kickstand. Left foot comes all the way back and the left toes turn over towards the left side of the room. As you reach the left arm all the way up, again, block can come underneath that left hand. Opening up the chest. Filling up the lungs with air. And then again, intensifying this posture by either tucking the tailbone or feeling the outside edge of that back foot press down as the ribs lift up towards the ceiling. On the exhale, slowly releasing left hand, knees to center or knees wide. Left shoulder, left ear comes all the way down, or thread the needle. And then again, right arm or right hand slides forward, or take that right hand to the low back. And breathe and be. After that third exhale, right hand comes in front of the face, pressing into the floor, lifting up back into that tabletop position. From here, we'll come to child's pose. Your choice to take it into a wide child's pose or knees together child's pose. We'll shift the hips back towards the heels. Forearms can come down or forehead can rest on the floor. And always an option here to bring the hands together in prayer, lift the fingertips up towards the ceiling to get a nice arm stretch here. And then go ahead and just be here for a good 5 rounds of breaths. Breathing into the back, noticing how the hips are feeling this evening. And feeling that connection of your forehead onto the earth. Really beginning, if those palms are together, go ahead and stretch them out. Lift the forehead up. Go ahead and press yourself up into that tabletop position. We'll find our first downward facing dog. If you're not feeling downward dog today, you can always come into toes tucked under, extended puppy pose with the toes tucked under. Or again, find your downward facing dog on the hands or on the blocks, your choice. Lifting the hips all the way up. Taking some time here to move freely, maybe releasing one heel and then the other. Noticing the hamstrings, the lower body. And then also noticing the chest. You can bend your knees, lift the tail, and gently press your chest back towards the thighs. And from our downward facing dog, we're going to begin to move into plank. We'll find a modified plank today. Knees are going to drop down to the floor. Keep that lower belly drawn in. And we can lower down if you wanted to. You can lift up the feet, cross the ankles, and as you exhale, elbows bend back to lower down towards the earth. Tops of the feet come down to the floor, coming into a low cobra. Elbows squeezing in towards the ribs, shoulders dropped away from the ears. And then exhale, keep your chest slightly lifted. Take your hands away from the floor, and as you're here, press the pelvis into the ground. Begin to tap the chest with the fingers. At the same time, you're going to tap the tops of the feet onto the ground. Again, stimulating the lymphatic system here. You can tap across the chest. You can only imagine what this sounds like for you guys. Two more breaths. Keep the breath moving. And then exhale, forehead drops down, fingertips by the heart. Beginning to press yourself up into that half plank. Walking the hands towards you, we're going to come into a kneeling position. Again, if you need a blanket, bring that blanket in for the knees. A nice kneeling position. Knees are directly underneath the hip bones. As we're here, tops of the feet are pressing into the ground. We're going to reach the arms all the way out, all the way up. Nice deep inhale. As you exhale, your hands are kind of like karate chops here. We're just going to begin to kind of hit into the pelvic girdle here. Waking up the lymph nodes in this pelvic girdle region. Keeping the breath moving. Come to the sides of the pelvis. Just not hitting directly on bone. Very good. Let that go. Shake the hands out. Very good. Keeping in that kneeling position, knees underneath hip bones. We're going to inhale, reach the arms out, reach the arms all the way up. As we exhale, we're going to twist over towards the right. So the left arm can extend forward, right arm can extend back, gazing over towards the right or back with the right thumb. Taking a deep inhale here. Staying on the exhale. Inhale, reaching the arms all the way up. And exhaling, twisting over towards the left. Again, gaze to the left or gaze back to the left thumb, taking a deep inhale. And exhale. Inhale, reaching arms up, coming back to center. As you exhale, feel those arms come all the way down, float by the side. From here, we'll move into a gate pose. You can have a block handy. We're going to extend. Right leg out to the side, over towards the right. Right toes can point straight up towards the ceiling, and then you can have that block handy kind of towards the right knee. Check in, make sure your left knee is still directly underneath your left hip bone. And if this is too much on your knees, please don't stay here. This is a little more knee stuff than I normally do. You can always come to a seated position and reach over towards the right with your left arm instead of doing gate pose here. So for gate pose, that right leg's extended. Left arm reaches all the way up. Again, maybe tuck the tailbone. Hand can rest on the block by the knee, or can rest hand onto the shin as you get that nice stretch in the left side of the body, dropping that right shoulder away from the ear. Exhaling, coming out of gate pose. You can always use your block under your hands. Keep yourself safe, so zip that right leg in. Switch sides, extend the left leg out. Left toes point up. Again, block handy if you need it. Or coming into this pose in a seated position. Again, tailbone slightly tucks. Right arm reaches up and reaches over towards the left as we breathe into the right side of the body. And then exhale, gently releasing. Again, zipping that left knee in. And then as you're here, staying and kneeling, we'll find a gentle back bend here. Options, you can grab your forearms or your wrists. Relax your shoulders down. Or if you want a little more, you can reach for the elbows. If you still want more, you can find reverse prayer, finding the fingertips together, and then working to find the palms of the hands together behind the back. So whatever feels best, listening to your body. You're gonna find elbows. And then as you're here, you can begin to drop the shoulders down, maybe bump the hips forward slightly and take the gaze up, maybe to where your ceiling meets your wall. Taking a nice deep inhale. And then gently exhale. Take the hands from behind the back, gently place them onto the floor, back into your tabletop position. And we'll find a downward facing dog, tucking the toes under, lifting up and back. Taking your time here, if you want to come into extended puppy, you can. Feeling the stretch in the chest and the hamstrings. From here, we're going to come into a lunge. We're going to take our right foot and step it by the right thumb. You can always bring your knees down first. If you need to, take your hand onto your ankle and bring it forward. Have your blocks handy. Again, blanket can come in, come under the chest. Toes are going to tuck under, and we're going to rise up into a low lunge. Again, hands can be on blocks here if you need to. Fingertips can stay on the blocks. We'll keep those shoulders dropping away from the ears here. If you can, make sure you have that right knee directly over the right ankle. And then come back to focusing on the sensation of the breath, the way the breath feels in the nose. On your exhale, we're going to go ahead and come down from that low lunge. Bringing the hands down to the floor. And then we're going to take our hands inside, or our blocks, inside the right leg. Walk the right foot to the edge of the mat and slightly turn your right toes out. Just slightly turning out away from your mat. Coming into a lizard pose. This is pretty early on in the practice, so if you need to just stay here with your hands on the floor in your lizard pose, just stay here. If you already have really open hips, especially the front of your hips, like I do, maybe the pelvis lifts up and you focus more on the sensation in the inner groin. So whatever resonates, staying here. And if you love this pose, you're a lizard lover, maybe forearms come down or down to the blocks and the head releases. Being here for 5 breaths. 5 rounds of inhales and exhales. As you exhale, hands pressing up, back to center. Options here if you want to get a little more of a stretch in the hips. Inside edge of that right foot can lift, knee coming out towards the right. Gaze turns back to gaze over at the left foot. Continuing to breathe. And as you exhale, right foot comes back down. The right foot walks in. And then we'll move back into downward facing dog or child's pose. So you can always just take your right knee back. Use your blocks if you need to. Find child's pose or tuck the toes under and find downward facing dog. 3 breaths here, a little free movement again. Grounding and coming back to that intention of releasing, letting go, saying goodbye. And from downward facing dog, we'll find that low lunge on the left side. So as you're here, step the left foot by the left thumb or bring your knees down and find your hand on the ankle. Go ahead and drop your right knee down. Come into that low lunge and then go ahead and come on to rise up onto the left thigh or find your blocks underneath the fingers. Feel your left heel press into the ground, relax your face, and breathe here. Maybe this time, if you want to, hands can come to heart, thumbs press in towards the sternum. As you exhale, slowly releasing. Blocks can come back up towards the top. As you begin to walk your left foot to the edge of the mat, left toes can turn out. Coming in to your lizard pose on the other side. Palms can stay on the floor, pelvis can lift, or forearms can release down towards the ground or to the blocks. And then go ahead and be here for 5 breaths. When you're ready, gently pressing yourself up. And then lifting the inside edge, if you did it on the other side of that left foot. Left knee moving towards the left side of the room. And then you can begin to bring your gaze back towards the right foot. On your exhale, slowly place the foot down. Walk your left foot back into center. And this time, a little bit of a different transition. You can have the blocks underneath the hands. We're gonna tuck the toes under. We're gonna lift the knee. And we're going to turn towards the right into a standing wide forward fold. Okay, so blocks can be under the hands. I'm gonna move back just so that you guys can see me, hopefully. And then as you're in this wide forward fold, we're gonna go ahead and come up to standing. So hands can come onto the hips, elbows point straight up. As you inhale, rise all the way up. Exhaling. Coming to wide standing stance here. And we'll move into goddess pose. We're gonna turn the heels in, pressing into the outside edges of the feet. So really grounding the feet down. And then your pelvis is really pointing down here. We're not creating a large sway in the back. Pelvis is pointing down. As you exhale, knees are gonna bend. And then you're gonna press again into those outside edges of the feet, knees pressing back. As you're here, bring both of your hands together out in front of you. Again, waking up the lymphatic fluids in the arms, beginning to extend your right arm out to the side. As you do, let your left hand just come across that elbow crease up towards the right or left side of the chest, and then just switch. Press your hand into your left hand into your right arm across the elbow crease, hands back together to center, and then just switch sides. You're just dragging your hand across your arms and then bringing it back to center. One more on each side. Waking up all that fluid. As you bring it back to center, straightening the knees, coming out of goddess pose, turning the toes slightly in, taking a big inhale, reaching the arms out, lifting the gaze all the way up. As you exhale, reach the hands forward, standing forward fold. Hands can come onto the blocks here or to the floor. Releasing the head down. And then as you're here, we're gonna press the fingertips into the ground and inhale, come up halfway, big breath in. Big breath out. Coming up halfway, lengthening long, big inhale. Big exhale. Good, again, inhale, breathing in through the nose. Open the mouth. Folding forward. Last one, big inhale. From that standing wide forward fold, go ahead and turn your left toes towards the top of the mat again. Walk your blocks back up to center. Spin up onto the back toes to find that runner's lunge. Knees can drop down if you need to, or come straight back into that downward facing dog. You can stay in downward dog, or again, you can find child's pose, or on your inhale, coming forward into a plank. Exhale, drop the knees down, cross the ankles, elbows move back to lower the chest. Come to that low cobra, tops of the feet press down. Elbows squeeze in, shoulders drop away from the ears. As you exhale, lower the chest, press yourself up into that half plank. Ankles can cross. This is just a fancy transition. That's all it is. Walk your hands back towards you. Let the feet come forward. Scoot up towards the top of your mat. So make your way down to the ground. Good. You can always extend the arms out, slowly roll down. Hug your knees in towards your chest. And just begin to gently rock from side to side, just massaging the low back onto the floor. And then as you're here, go ahead and keep your right knee hugged in towards your chest. Extend your left leg all the way out. With your right knee in towards the chest, we're just going to begin to take some circles with the right leg, the right knee. As you're circling out to the right, feel free to pause where you feel tension in the groin or in the hip. Just taking those 3 circles out to the right. Maybe the foot kind of brushes the ground. Just making it your own. And then after those 3 circles, take it the opposite direction 3 times again. No need to rush. As you bring that right knee back in towards the chest, we're going to bring it into a twist here. Option, you can bring your right foot into the left knee crease, or keep the knee bent as you take the knee over towards the left. Left hand can rest on the knee or on the thigh. Right arm extends out. Make sure the right shoulder is nice and relaxed. As you relax the jaw, take the gaze over to the right and breathe. Dropping in again to that sensation that you feel in the nose. Giving yourself permission to really soften and let go. On your exhale, slowly release. You can bring your left knee in, extend your right leg out. And then we'll do those 3 circles on the other side, starting with the left side. Making 3 slow circles out to the left. Again, maybe pausing when you feel any sensations that you need to breathe into. And then after those 3 circles, taking it the opposite direction. Once you bring it back into the center, finding your twist, left foot can come into the right knee crease or away as you keep your left knee bent, extending that left arm out, and then dropping in to just let go. On your exhale, slowly unwinding. Taking a moment to stretch all the way out. And go ahead and get really long. Point through the toes. Extend the arms back behind you. You could even interlace the fingers and slip the palms back. And then as you're here, we're going to bring one knee in towards the chest and then the other. Extend one foot up towards the ceiling and then the other. And then go ahead and press the palms of your hands up towards the ceiling. Take the fingers apart. Practicing what I like to call dead bug in kids yoga classes. Again, really great for lymphatic system. We're just going to shake the legs. Really, we're going to shake the feet more than anything, kind of shaking them off, and the hands at the same time. So go ahead and shake the hands, shake the feet, shake the arms, shake the legs. Letting it all go, throwing your mini tantrum, getting all of those frustrations that you may have out. And then taking a big inhale to stop and hold at the top of the breath. Feel the buzz. And then exhale, gently releasing the legs, the arms down. Noticing how you're feeling. Maybe there's another posture you need before we move into Shavasana. You could find a happy baby pose, reaching for the feet. Also bring soles of the feet together and support the hips or the knees with the blocks. Or if you're having any low back pain, bringing that bolster underneath the knees. So go ahead and drop in and rest. Just taking your time to get into final relaxation. Once you're in Shavasana, going ahead and shutting the eyes down. In your mind, as you're here, getting to feel any tension in the lower body, release. Any holding in the belly, relax and release. Maybe even feeling the corners of your mouth lift into a soft smile. as you feel the breath move into a place of freedom. And then feeling the jaw relax as you drop into a state of rest. Play a little bit of Native American flute here. As you're here, slowly beginning to deepen the breath. Taking your time to awaken the body slowly, maybe feeling the thumbs brush across each finger. And then maybe turning the head from side to side. And then stretching the arms up and over the head, taking a nice deep breath in, holding at the top of the breath to fill up all the way. And then opening the mouth to exhale completely. When you're ready, beginning to turn over onto your side. Slowly pressing yourself up into a comfortable seated position, sitting nice and tall. Bringing your fingertips onto the earth, we'll reach the arms overhead, bring the palms of the hands together. Hands down to the heart. We'll close our practice with one sound of Om, taking a nice deep inhale. Thank you all so very much for sharing your practice with me. Hope everyone is well. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening. Namaste.